G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Gorge once again, a brand new map for Age of Empires 4's expansion pack, the Sultan's Ascent. Today we've got ourselves a pretty fun matchup. We've covered it before recently, but we're going to cover it again because I tell you what, I like this matchup a lot. Spawning in on the south side of the map, in the color purple, playing as the Order of the Dragon, we've got Fei-chan. And in the north of the map, you'll know him for his YouTube channel with hundreds of thousands of views, quality content, playing the Juicy Legacy in the color teal. It's Spirit of the War. It's not Spirit of the Law, I know. It's Spirit of War. And I know we're missing, look, it's a stretch, but anyway, I'm excited nonetheless. You know, he actually did a couple of Age of Empires 4 videos recently. I think he did one for the Sultan's Ascent, where I'm pretty sure he gave it like a B. Like, he gave the expansion a B. And I'd have to go back and do a reaction to it, but I just remember thinking to myself, bro, for a game that's got 10 civilizations, we just went from 10 to 16, and I'm paying like, what was it, $15 for this expansion pack, not to mention the fact that there's like a whole campaign, and I'm getting a B for it? It's like, damn, what do you need for an A to get it? Like, A, oh, look, you'd need 17 campaigns, 45 civilizations, and we'd probably need some bug fixes as well. That's it. Anyway, look, that's my bitch and done for today. How you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm looking forward to this game because it's one of those matchups that I'm so familiar with from the older civilization. Of course, you guys know I'm a big fan of the Chinese. I love how they play. They're a fun civilization, at least for my style. I love to boom. I'm a boomer. You guys have seen me with my sugar-free monster can, probably, riding my Moon lawnmower. It's the exact same thing here. And you're up against the Order of the Dragon, a civilization that is very, very good. Basically, your Holy Roman Empire replacement, very, very good in the late game. And that's where we're going to be looking for a matchup like this. It is two civilizations that excel in the late game. Of course, the Juicy Legacy just kind of excels everywhere. But let's get into it. We've got ourselves an early wheelbarrow coming through from Fei. She likes to do this kind of stuff. Both Fei and Divine, I typically see a lot of early wheelbarrows coming through. So curious to see exactly how this build goes. It's starting to shape up pretty well, though. Not going to lie, early wheelbarrow, this is part of that extra 50 wood that the Order of the Dragon got. Remember, they went from 150 wood up to 200 wood, and everybody was like, wow, that'll totally make them competitive. It didn't. But maybe this could be it. The age-up timing is still pretty competitive. I mean, if she's 11 gold short at the moment. And you can see she's moved out a whole bunch of vills onto wood already. So maybe she's just biding her time. And I'm curious to see, does she go into the mine work here? I suspect she probably does. I feel like the mine work's still better than the Archon. I guess one of the good things about the Archon is it still does serve as like a really good centralized location for your farms. The way she's moving though, it looks like it's going to be a mine work palace in the front of the base. I think if you wanted to go for an Archon, you could definitely do it back here. Lovely spot up against the stone, the wood. But other than that, mine work makes sense. And she's left a ring big enough for farms around the outside of the town center, of course, which is mandatory here. But let's ride on board with Spirit of the War. See how he's doing. His villagers are moving up towards the north side. Of course, he's looking for those 8 berry patches. That's going to be the key here. The problem's going to be he can't actually... does he not see them? Oh, no, never mind. He does actually see them. They're just on the other side. Hold on, what's going on here? The 8 berries? There's the 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at that. How's that for you? You hate to see it, don't you? But, look, not the best spawn down here, so naturally does go for that top side. It's going to be 60 gold at least. Look, I'm going to be honest. 60 gold, I'm going to go, how many trees, or how much wood are we going for here? There's a couple here, couple here, couple here. I reckon this could be decent, maybe like 45, 50 wood, I reckon. So I'm going for about 110 resources, which isn't too bad, 110 resources. I feel like you probably could have just gone, see, I'm so attracted to these berries, man. I tell you what, I wake up in the morning and I see a couple berries and I'm good for the whole day. I'm good for the whole day. Anyway, Jiangnan Tower, we're going to be coming in here for Spirit of War. We're just going to have to call him Spirit of the War. Spirit of Law. Spirit of the War. Anyway, Minework Palace coming up. Where does Fei look to go? Now, normally we'd expect to see a Castle Age coming through, but I think in this matchup, you've almost got to be hesitant of going Castle Age for the Order of the Dragon, just simply because your opponent as the Juicy Legacy can just get up before you, right? And it's like, I can go Castle Age, I can get my Regnant's Cathedral out, but even if I do that, the Juicy Legacy is going to take 4 out of the 5 relics. Like, that's just a fact, right? You can age up at 6 minutes Sorry, before 6 minutes. What's the age up time with the Juicy Legacy? Like 540, 545, somewhere around that region. Straight into those monks. And you don't really want to mess around with those. Not to mention that for the Order of the Dragon, it's like I've got to go for my Regnits, and then I've got to train my Prelates out of my Regnits. I don't have them on the get-go, so it's a nice little counter match up there. But I will note that Spirit of War hasn't opted to go for the fast castle route, and I think that's a pretty smart move in this situation. I think in this matchup you can probably go for it, but just in that Faye has not opted to play for the castle age, it means that I think Spirit of War is going to be well positioned here for the feudal fight that is undoubtedly brewing. Barracks is built, men-at-arms not going to be coming out. Is Faye going for the fake out again? I think she's going for the fake out again. Look at this. She's put the barracks down, but she hasn't made anything. We've seen her do this before. She's done this before. I remember on Cliffside she did. Oh, let's have a look here. Okay, so we should have 60 gold. So what did I say? Around 52, 54, somewhere around that region. 37 wood. My lord, I overestimated that. Yeah, this is barely breaking even. I say breaking even. I mean, you should expect about 100 resources a minute on just a mediocre meditation gardens. So I would call that a mediocre meditation gardens, unfortunately. But we'll check in and see exactly how Spirit of War is doing. Looks like a second town center will be coming up here, but we do have Jukenut production out as well. Doesn't look like too much pressure going to be put out on the map at this stage. Just looking to guard up. I like the way that he's guarding up the stone outcropping with the Jukenut, almost like they're spearmen, anticipating the arrival of cavalry, except for the anticipation it's just going to be men-at-arms, I guess. But let's find out a little bit more about Faye. Outpost going to be coming down. It looks like it will be a castle age for her. Normally, we only ever see those outposts when there is an imminent castle age. Second outpost going to be coming up here as well. We'll be able to double up the usage of this outpost and put relics in them, make sure the spring emplacements come through, so they'll be very strongly positioned. And here we've got very nicely played by Faye. Survival Techniques is on the way through. I was going to say it's already through. It's on the way through right now. Have a look at that. Nice little timing from her. But we're out here over on the boar. You can see that not only does she have that boar, but she's got the wheelbarrow, survival techniques. She's just farming up a storm. She's gathering up a storm down here. Look how much food she can carry. 40, 41, 42. When does it stop? 42. Wow. Okay, that is impressive. 42 carried food for the boar. That is kind of wild, isn't it? I guess it's probably the same for the deer as well. Jukenut now moving forward. Outpost going to provide a little bit of cover here. But the Jukenut might be able to find themselves a little sweet spot. Expect to see arrow slits come through shortly to deal with this. Villagers trying to jump inside the outpost. Managed to do it. No villagers lost at this stage. And indeed, cover has been provided by this outpost, at least for the moment. We'll check in with our Jukenut spamming player, Spirit of the War, and see how he's doing as he's up to 7 Jukenut. Second town center has come down in that center base location, as you would expect, and Blacksmith also coming up. Look at this, Siege Engineering, really early. Plenty of vills on wood, and he's moved more villagers over onto wood, so we see 5 more villagers coming out to wood, so definitely going to be looking for that early battering ram coming out already from Spirit of War. And I do like this aggression. You know, normally there's a couple of rules that we follow when we're being aggressive as the Juicy Legacies. Number one, we always want to go for +1 ranged attack first. We always want to follow up with ranged armor, and then if we're feeling a little bit spicy, we can go into Siege Engineering. But it's not going to be the case today, just opening straight up with Siege Engineering, and I guess you're not up against any units here. I love the fact that Faye is just open with that barracks, and that's bought her enough time to get to Castle Age. Like, she's able to click up now, up towards that north side of the map. Boar is, well, you got to be careful there. All right, Spirit of the War. Almost finding out the hard way about the Spirit of the Boar. Come on, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'll take that one. That was good. I can't believe that actually rhymed. I could have been like the spirit of the deer, but it was the Spirit of the Boar. Battering ram coming down in full vision of your enemy. Not always a good idea. You can pull, you probably wouldn't want to pull vills against this, but I mean, the single men at arms that will be shortly making its arrival towards this location may have something to say about this. Nope, he's got nothing to say about it. He's just being chilling at the moment. All right, well, we'll check back in with Spirit of War and see how he's doing. Keep in mind that at this stage of the game, 9 minutes through, economies aren't yet really building. There is a distinct advantage when it comes to the villager count, but remember that those are normal villagers up against the good boys, the strong boys of the Order of the Dragon. Oh, excuse me. All right, where does he go? Looks like it's going to be the gold vein. Now, the best thing he can do with this is look to put these Jukenut inside the battering ram, and you want to put the battering ram in from the north side. That's pretty much the way you want to play it. You don't want to be between the gold mine and the outpost. So Now moving around that top side, the Vils are just going to be able to burn this down. A little bit of a mistake from Spirit of War. I will remind you guys that both of these players are Conqueror 3 players, so they are very good. We're going to expect minimal mistakes from them. Scout will be going down. Emergency repairs will come through, and you can see the men-at-arms, how little damage they're taking. Not to mention, they've also got the Golden Cuirass that is arriving, +1 ranged armor on the way through from that mine work. Almost, I'm tempted to say a little bit late, to be honest. Actually, no, I take it back because she's got the 4 armor on the Gilded Spearman, so you don't even need to go for this upgrade right now. It is not a necessary upgrade. You're just wasting your resources. This is better spent on melee attack or something, because you're going from 4 ranged armor up to 5 ranged armor, but the reality is your opponent's only got, well, they've only got 4 ranged attack, but even in the best case scenario, bruh. Wow, okay. Hasn't even gone for Steel Bolt. Very interesting decision from the Juicy Legacy player not to go into Steel Bolt when you've got a Jukunu opening, but, you know, I'm going to respect it. Let's see what he does with it. Maybe he just knows that his opponent is going to get +1 ranged armor, so there's no point in going into it anyway. Maybe that could be the play, and I think that's probably it, actually, now that I think about it. He just knows I'm not going to waste the resources in going into +1 ranged attack, because my opponent's already just going to counter it with ranged armor or just with their veterancy upgrade, so I'd just be wasting resources, and if that is actually the case, mad respect, yo. All right, relics are getting picked up. That's the first one coming through for Faye. Looks like it's just going to be the safe one. She's looking to put it into the outpost. Wants to try and get a sprinkled in placement here. No villagers on stone at this stage of the game. We're 12 minutes through. Next battering ram is going to be coming through. Now, keep in mind, emergency repairs did come out for this first outpost. Second outpost will not be so lucky. And keep in mind, Faye does have this relic in the outpost, but that will now be exposed because the outpost is firing down on the units that are down here. So it will mean Faye needs to really defend this, and we start to see walls coming up on the relics. I can't help but feel like it is just too little too late, though. It's only a matter of time until these prelates get out here. We'll see exactly how Faye goes about it, but now the Jukunu are going to continue to micro away from these men-at-arms, looking to try and focus down the one in the front. You can see that she's having a bit of a tough time here, managing to catch up with those men-at-arms, with those Jukunu, excuse me. But unfortunately, just getting ripped apart here. It's going to take a lot of volleys, but eventually you will be able to take down those men-at-arms. You just need to keep kiting. That's the one thing. You can't let yourself be caught out of position. Just keep fighting, or keep kiting, keep fighting, that sort of thing. And the men-at-arms will slowly but steadily go down here. But one thing that Faye does is she buys herself time. And now we can see the real counter coming through. It's going to be dragon scale leather on those gilded archers, which should hopefully be enough to deal with this. And this is one of the counters that we've observed previously in the Imperial Age. In this matchup, we've seen it work very, very well, where you just go full archers or dragon scale archers up against the Jukunu, and the Jukunu really just kind of left with nothing but twiddling their thumbs. Anyway, more walls coming up. It's going to be 2 relics that are sealed up on that north side of the map. 2 relics have been picked up so far for Faye. 3rd relic in the middle of the map, unlikely to get picked up for the moment. There's those gilded archers now coming out. Really need to build the number, and we can see we've got +1 ranged armor at this stage. This is going to take us up to +4 ranged armor. Keep in mind, at this stage, we still don't see that +1 ranged attack coming through for Spirit of the War. And now those Jukunu just continue to puncture through those defensive armor, the defensive shields of the men-at-arms. Gilded archers on the back have got that slightly longer range, slightly higher attack speed. Now that villager that manages to get the wall in, I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of impressed that this happened. Had Faye scouted this region of the map? She has scouted the region of the map, so she knows about it. I wonder if it was just a lack of APM or a lack of resources on her part. Oh, look at where the Regnitz is. That's why. The Regnitz is right in this bottom corner, so it really is quite a stretch to get there. You can see that she's got the rally point set for that relic. But it's just, yeah, normally you'd expect to see the Regnitz somewhere around here, maybe even next to the TC. But obviously not today. Archer numbers starting to build here. This is where it gets tough. +5 ranged armor now through. The +2 has come through for Faye. She's got a very good answer to this Jukunu timing in the castle, or in the castle age, yeah. Second battering ram coming through. She's able to just shoot and scoot here. She's got good range, but just remember, those Jukunu, they don't mess around. 33. Jukunu, that's going to be a total of 99 damage that's coming out here. So even then, you're only really, you're still getting 2-shot here by those Jukunu. So you're going to be really careful. And I love the way that she's got the archers on the back, the men-at-arms on the front. 16 Jukunu inside, gonna jump out and look to try and get in on top, but a little bit of a mistake, honestly, from Spirit of War. We want to try and keep those Jukunu together. He could realistically turn them around and try and take out the Gilded Archers, but he's just mixing up all of the damage and putting them onto different units, and we just want to try and focus down those one units, and that's part of the reason why I don't think it was a good idea moving forward like that. But have a look at this defense coming through from Faye. She is really harnessing the power of the Holy Roman Empire variant, the Order of the Dragon. And 15 minutes through this game, we'll switch it over to income per minute, get a bit of an idea on where these players currently sit. Vil's able to repel. She's only lost the 5 workers so far this game. 5 workers, it's kind of a lot, I'm not going to lie, but it could be worse. And she's got the relics on her side. Speaking of relics, don't you love to see that? The relic got picked up through the wall. This is one of the things that I was talking about. I think I mentioned this to the devs, but basically with the way that walls work at the moment, you can wall to things like berries, right? Like I can just wall this off. And the problem is that once I eat the berries, it's gone. The other problem is I can wall to relics. So I can literally wall to this relic and then wall to the corner, and you could just walk through the relic. The other problem that you've got is that your enemy could just literally pick up the relic. On top of that, if you wall too close to the relics, so the relic was technically inside, the enemy prelate or monk can just literally walk up to the wall and yoink, it's gone. All right, Shaolin Monastery going to be coming through from Spirit of the War. I will say, I think this is a little bit of a mistake. I think at the current stage of the game, 16 minutes through, you know that you've lost at least 4 relics, right? Like this one in the middle is going to be going over to your opponent shortly. There's 1 relic that remains on the map. And the power spike that is the Shaolin Monastery occurs early on before your opponent reaches Castle Age. And I don't think that this is an appropriate landmark. It might be appropriate if you want to, you know, get to a pagoda for some reason for your single relic. But other than that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to be going into the Shaolin Monastery in this game, in my opinion. But I don't know. Maybe you think differently. Maybe it's your opinion that it is worth. I'm curious how you'd actually look to utilize it, though. I think the Montlu Academy here just makes so much more sense, right? You go to the Montlu Academy, all of a sudden you've got that faster pickup speed. You grab the increased movement speed. You could even look for Imperial Red Seals. Of course, you're going to be looking to try and get that extra supervision speed out as well. There's a lot of great things that you can have from that Montlu Academy. So it's almost a bit of a waste of resources here. Just kind of like a landmark that is non-existent. You know, imagine as an example, you know, an astronomical clock tower from the Chinese and the difference it would make in this situation. Speaking of Chinese, we've got ourselves a little bit of a granary boom beginning to come through. 3 granaries all stacked next to each other. Gets scouted out by Faye, so she's going to know where she needs to target. Gilded Archers moving around the south of the map. Faye got to be careful. Spirit of the War could look to transition into a different type of unit. Hint, hint, hint. 7 horsemen. Archers will make a connection with the villagers. Does she spot it? She spots it. Villagers trying to catch them. 1.25 movement speed up against the 1.29 movement speed. They're going to be able to spot it. 1 villager. 2 villagers. Count them with me, ladies and gentlemen. 3 villagers. That's not a villager. That's not a villager. They're all chopping the wood. They're all chopping the... Oh, that's so many horsemen that have just come in right now. Veterancy arrives on the Jukunu. Still no +1 ranged attack, by the way, which is kind of a little bit curious. Not going to lie. Gilded Archers, though, slowly but steadily eating these veteran horsemen alive. But, of course, at the end of the day, it is going to go the way of the veteran horsemen. And now on towards that top side, the Archers continue. Oh, my God, she's gone Imperial. Wow, that was quick. Okay, she bought herself plenty of time. I didn't expect to see that. Have a look at the difference between villager counts, though. 44 against 84. Okay, so that's our bottom limit. 44 against 84. So let's do a quick picture of the economies. We've got Faye, who's on about 2,000 resources a minute, compared to Spirit of War, who's on about 3,000 resources a minute. But watch how quickly that changes. Now that Swabia is online, this landmark has been called by many the best landmark in the game. Arguably, it's probably in the same tier as the Meditation Gardens. I'd probably say the Meditation Gardens is better, just because you make the Meditation Gardens every game, whereas you don't get to make Swabia every game. Like, the impact that you get from Swabia is limited to how many games you can actually build it, and how many games that you can survive once it's online. Whereas Meditation Gardens, it's just, like, infinitely there, providing value. And even if your enemy kills it, well, you guys know the bug. Anyway, we'll check out towards the middle and see how Spirit of the War is doing. Struggling, as he wants to get these walls up, but unfortunately, there are units on the move. Plenty of units on the way, looking to shut down these walls. He's got textiles. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter. The Archer's way too strong. The wall gets cancelled, and back to the drawing board he heads. He's got big walls coming up, though. I like big walls, and I cannot lie. Sometimes 2024, Anyway. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm thinking. Give me those walls. Give me those walls! Alright, Swabia, how we doing? 59 versus 90, so now a difference of 40 villages, or rather 30 villages, 31 villages coming up. And that economy is going to continue to boost. But remember the power of the Order of the Dragon. The Order of the Dragon's power is realized not in the early stages of the game, but in the late stages. And not just in the late stage, but in the very late, like the post-Imperial stage of the game. And the reason why is quite simple. Their villages are just better. They're stronger villages, they're more population efficient, and that's really important. Because it means that instead of gathering, you know, we saw it earlier, right? Like they're carrying 40 food on the board. They're gathering much faster than the normal villager, but they cost the same population. So you've essentially got a bigger economy for the same price. Now, of course, it's not exactly the same price. You've got to pay a little bit more for the villagers. You've got to take a little bit longer, but once you get to that late game, once we're all even Stevens, that's when it really starts to kick in. But the Zhuganu numbers together with the crossbow numbers starting to build here for Spirit of War. He's up to 47 military population. Up against the 33 military pop on the other side. A couple of men at arms here looking to try and help out. I think I see a spearman or two are also in here. The Jukin are going to be looking to tear them apart. Still no ranged attack. Spirit of the War, I've got a bone to pick with you, my friend. We need to get our ranged attack upgrade. This isn't even a macro mistake. Like, this is just a mistake. This is like mistake number one. Cardinal rule of the Jussi legacy. If going for Zhukunu, get ranged upgrades. That's it. That's as simple as it is. You want to get the first round, you want to get the second round. Really important. Now, there are fights where it's not going to make a difference. As an example here, you're against a men-at-arms with 7 armor. Doesn't make a difference there. You're against a gilded archer with 6 ranged armor. Doesn't make a difference here. But look at the spearman. He's only got 3 armor, and it makes a difference right there. Also makes a difference with those crossbows as well. Gets a little bit more damage through. Extra 2 damage a volley is not bad at all. But now, it looks like he will get eaten alive. The smaller military able to take out the larger one. Of course, it is more powerful, this military, than the average bear. Now we've got ourselves a little bit of a wall race. Have a look at this. They're walling up each other's respective sides. We've got Spirit of the War, who's coming down on this deep side, whereas on the other side, we've got Fei Chan, who's walling it off. I gotta say, I like it. I respect it. And most importantly, I like these 2 colors next to each other. It just looks good. I'll say that much. It reminds me of, did you guys ever play Need for Speed Underground? I tell you what, that game, wow. I gambled on that game, right? Like, I remember it came out in 2012, or at least sorry, not 2012, what am I saying? 2002. And yeah, I was 12 years old, and I'd gotten really good grades on my report card, because my mum basically said to me, look, Drongo, your grades are terrible. How about if you get 4 A's and 4 B's, at least, I'll buy you an Xbox game. And I was like, Mum, that's a great deal. And so for 12 weeks, I grinded. And we got the report card back. 6 A's, 2 B's. So Mum bought me Need for Speed Underground. And one of the cars that was in it was an Eclipse. I think it was a Mitsubishi Eclipse or a Nissan Eclipse. I can't remember exactly. I think it's a Mitsubishi. Anyway, that was the color theme that it had. Beautiful colors. Anyway, Nesta Bees are now out for Spirit of War. And for anybody wondering, after I, you know what? We'll focus on that later. We'll focus on the fight right now. We got spears, we got men at arms on the front, and we still don't have +1 ranged attack at this stage of the game. Nesta Bees though might get caught out of position. Indeed, they do. He's going to move forward with the archers. The Bees still firing down, but it looks like it will go down eventually. Now moving in nice and close. Look at this. He's having trouble, but he still manages to get the shots off. But unfortunately, will lose out that Bee. And you can see there's so few units here, but it just feels so difficult to deal with. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Need for Speed Underground. So anyway, I gambled on that game. I went out and I was like, all right, we're just going to go by this game. This game looks pretty cool. And oh my God, I remember I wasn't addicted to that game, but I had like anxiety when I couldn't play that game. I was totally addicted to that game. It was such a fun game. Oh my Lord. Anyway, after that, my mum's like, oh, well, Drongo, clearly you've demonstrated that you have the capability to perform at school. Please keep doing that. And I was like, but what about the Xbox games? And she was just like, no. Anyway, you can guess what happened next. I didn't try. I said I wanted an Xbox game, and I think just to spite her, I was like, just to spite you, I'm gonna not try. Oh God, parenting. I hope I don't make the same mistakes as my parents. No, I'm gonna change that. I hope I learn from the mistakes of my parents, and I can become the parent I want to be. But speaking of parenting, have a look at this. This is something I'm gonna teach my sons. Make sure You're attacking the enemy's economy. Look at this. Beautiful attack coming through from Faye. Able to idle out plenty of that farming economy here. Spirit of the War will eventually clean it up, but look at the economy, how much has been idled out. Beautiful little farming base that we've got back here as well for Spirit of the War. Farming down the mountain. That is, you know, there's songs about that, I think. She'll be farming down the mountain when she comes. She'll be farming down the mountain when she comes. She'll be farming down the mountain. She'll be farming down the mountain. Oh my lord, how good is that, dude? Ah, you love to see it. There's nothing more I love than, you know, picturesque farming bases. There's just something about it. You know, I often tell I'm sorry, this is getting cursed, this cast, but I tell my wife, I'm like, you know, when I picture a holiday, all I picture is like somewhere that it's raining and there's rice fields, and all I'm doing is sitting inside, just chilling out with her and the boys, and just watching, I don't know, Netflix or something. Like, that to me is my dream. That's the dream right there. Culverin out already. You get one shot, Culverin, and he takes it and he hits it. Very well played there by the Culverin. Nice micro coming in from Faye, demonstrating her prowess in this late game. 182 population up against 157 advantage, definitely in favor of the Order of the Dragon player. The Imperial Age has come through for her opponent. Elite upgrades are on the table as well. We've got Elite Horsemen looking to surround, try and get in on top of that artillery, on top of that siege. Grenadiers also joining in as well. Elite Crossbowmen looking to tee off from the back, still no +1 ranged attack. And now on the front side, ranged armor's all that's gotten. But Spirit of the War is making me scratch my head. He's going for Grenadiers. Spirit of the War. I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty sure your Grenadiers actually get ranged attack from the +1, +2, +3. I'd have to double check that though. I don't want to be telling you guys fibs. But I'm pretty sure. He did go up with the Jussi's Library, which I think if you're going to go Grenadiers, does not make sense. If you're going to go for Grenadiers, you want to go for the Temple of the Sun, just so you can get that extra movement speed to get up nice and close. Then, of course, you can switch it over to the range. But at this stage of the game, I mean, this is not looking pretty right now for Spirit of the War. He is struggling. The Bombard is on the front line. A keep will be coming down as well to help him out. Realistically, at this stage of the game, he needs a big cavalry force to deal with this. Now, he could be going into something like Dynastic Protectors. Is it Dynastic Protectors? Dynastic Protectors. Not too bad. Instead, he's going to go into Roar of the Dragon. Oh, my lord. Roar of the Dragon against the Dragon Order. Wow. We've got ourselves double Dragon gaming coming out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to see it. Plenty of gold still up in the north. 2,300 on it. He's got another gold vein he can quickly move over to. Imperial official is out here supervising the mining camp, so he's getting that extra 20%. Bombards are moving towards the north. There's plenty of production up here. He wants to make sure he keeps it alive, and you can see from Faye's perspective, she is aware of this gold as well. Let's see how she goes. First keep is up, second keep now coming online. Nesta Bees teeing off. Doesn't find it. Keep. Plenty of health on it still. And now the Elite Horsemen rounding the north. Still yet to pick it up. Come on, we need Roar of the Dragon through. Now making his way on top of Faye. Plenty of cavalry here, just gets eaten alive. Nowhere near enough. You can see also in the back line, we've got the Grenadiers fighting underneath. But unfortunately, if Faye... Oh my god, look at the military difference. 97 against 10? Oh my lord, and the game gets called just like that. Wow, impressive performance from Faye. Dominating the Jussi Legacy in a Conqueror 3 battle. Fellas, go and check her out. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch her live, and for all you need for speed fans, I bid you hit the nos. Goodbye.